say I don't pay attention. I do everything the same as the way I did it last time. Still you see my life is pitiful, that I'm selfish and predictable. Though I have no voice to disagree, I don't wanna share. Never says wrong with weakness, but I know that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at me now. I'm the next you.
Good morning. It is Sunday. We're going to do some dad talk. So if you're not at church, welcome to the show. And I'm sure, you know what? We do this early enough to where you can watch this and then go to church. So for those of you that want to do that, but for those of you that are watching right now, like, share, subscribe. Let's do some dad talk. Mr. Dwayne, what's going on, brother?
Another fun day in paradise, man. All I can say is church is in session. Pastor Eric getting ready to lay down some tracks.
We're going to lay it down, guys. Here, we're going to pass the offering plate around really quick. Like, share, subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, it's down there. We're going to talk about a few things, and then we'll get into your voicemails. I got several voicemails that came in yesterday, and we're going to play those. But I just wanted to talk about what we was talking about before we came on the show. For anybody that did not see last night's broadcast, wow, dude.
Watch it.
What was your thoughts on that when you was listening to Katie, Dwayne?
I didn't get a chance to watch it live. I'll be honest, I had to watch it on the replay, but wow. Powerful. I mean, my wife and I sat there triggered in a good way. I mean, you know, our stories, it wasn't, well, her, you know, she had some alienation, but triggered for different things. So we were able to pull our pieces out of it and also just reflect on what, Katie's story was and just look at this powerful young woman that she has overcome a lot of things. She's done, what unfortunately other kids haven't been able to do. And she opened her heart up and reached out and all that, but she talked about a number of different things what she went through. Did a great job telling the story, what happened, how she overcame it, the relationship she's there. So I mean, for anyone, it looks like Barbara Cuddy, where can I find the story? It's on Dad Talk. It's on the Facebook and on the YouTube channel from last evening. Don't stop this show because we want y'all. We want you here, but after that,
watch that afterwards.
Go watch it. It was a great show. It was. I mean, you did a great job. I mean,
I appreciate that, man. That was probably one of my more proud interviews that I've done because it was one of those where it's called "Why Doesn't My Dad Want Me?" And if Katie sees that, I named it that for a reason because this girl went 20 years thinking that her dad wasn't around and that he didn't want her. And that he was abusive and that he was all these other things. And it seems like the alienation might have sank its teeth even worse into the brother. So I can imagine what he's going through right now. But it was one of those, as you're hearing her tell her story, we know what's going on. But she's still somewhat new to it. Her eyes are open. She's asking questions. But if I'm being honest, it seems like there's still a loyalty conflict there.
Oh, yeah.
I spent so many years with my mom and heard this story that I want to believe my mom, but I want to believe my dad, but I'm not supposed to believe my dad. Right. And, it was, I don't want to tell her this is what's going on. So I just asked questions because one of the things she told us very early on is when she cut her mom off, she said, I had to put boundaries in there. Like I couldn't talk to her anymore. Nothing I said mattered. And it always came back a way to blame it on me. And it was like it went nowhere. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to make the point. You think your dad didn't fight hard enough, but we don't know how much he did fight. And you had to put in boundaries. What did he have to do? Dwayne, I can feel that a mile away, dude. Yeah. Like in my story, I'll just tell you guys, I had to put in boundaries. I had to block because I said, doesn't seem like I'm getting any relief from the courts. And anytime I end up here, all I end up with is frustration.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers away because hearing it out of her own mouth, it's finding out. Sorry if I give a spoiler here, but finding out that Han Solo, got shot during Star Wars before you go see the movie. It just, the way she told, the way it unpacked, and I mean, again, I know I'm a fanboy here, but kudos to you. I mean, you have to consider like doing therapy because I mean, you could see because she was hesitant up front, and then you started unpacking it, and I don't gently like leading her to like explore certain things, and there were a couple points where you could just see the
gears was turning.
The gears were turning. Yeah. She's like, oh snap. Yeah, okay, I hope she comes back. I hope her dad comes back. I hope the stepfather comes back. But it's one of those you got to watch it.
I invited Dad, and I know she's still developing that relationship, even though it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since they rekindled. You can still tell the loyalty conflict that's going on there.
Oh, yeah.
But Dwayne, for anybody that's been alienated, the hard part of that interview for me was thinking how many of these people's kids I was talking to when I was talking to her.
Oh,
that was just one of those is like this, what these kids are thinking about these dads that aren't getting the opportunity. They're getting told this one side of the story and they're going their whole lives thinking that these dads don't want them. And that is child abuse, man. It is. I mean, I don't care. It is child abuse. There is no other way to put it, but I commend her because, dude, as much as that girl's got her head on her shoulders after all that she's been through, holy crap, bright young lady.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And she's the healer. She's the peacekeeper of all the families, and she touched on so many things that I mean, again, watch that podcast in particular because there's so many things that everybody can. I'm 50 years old, and I was right there. I mean, again, when you go through trauma like that, you don't age mentally. No. I mean, you're stuck in that. I mean, again, I act like a 12-year-old boy all the time anyway. But as she's telling her story, you can see yourself in it. She's a great job.
So I want to read this comment from Jason Bermender. He said, great talk. Maybe I missed it, but the dad left just because he couldn't get along with the mom and didn't really reach out to his daughter. Was that it? Dude, that's what most people would think. Okay. When you are talking about this type of a mom. Okay. And that was why you got to watch the interview again, but not talking to mom's family. Then after she divorced his stepdad, their family won't talk. Never met dad's family. You got this one common denominator right here that is breaking a wedge between her and everybody else. And we say, oh, he wasn't reaching out to his daughter. How was he supposed to? He's got a gatekeeper here, guys. And you can say go through the family courts. If the family courts did what they were supposed to do, there would be no dad talk today.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't be here. We'd be playing video games and
yes.
That's what would end up doing. And again, I don't want to spoil any of it because you have to watch. It's almost. I mean, we've already kind of given like the prologue to the book or the prologue to the movie, just kind of high level. But you've got to sit and watch it because, I had it on my TV last night, so I'm watching this thing, and I'm old, so I got the bifocals, and I'm watching the interaction between you and her, and how she's unpacking the story. And you can just see it. It's just deeply emotional, and all the things she's was going through is going through. I mean, if you don't walk away from that as a changed person for the good, I don't say.
People say a dad never stopped. I saw that comment down there. He didn't. It might have took some time, but dude, again, watch it. I mean, I'll say this. I ain't going to tell you that it's happened a ton of times, but there has been times that dads have been on the show. And later on, their kids that haven't talked to them in years, they reach out. And then we get to talk, and it's like, oh, okay, they're wanting to know what's going on. But there is a huge loyalty conflict in there. And that's one of the biggest things that I think, with these kids that are alienated, instead of just making it about the parent, because we know they don't just alienate the parent. Well, have you met the other side of your family? No.
That was big for me. Yeah, that
Yep.
was one of the things I was pulling from. Like, wow, that I mean, we touched on the ripple effect of all of this. It's not just mom and dad. It's not just mom and dad and the kids. It's the grandparents, the uncles, the brothers, the cousins, the all. It ripples out. And I mean, I'm like, there's so many different parts. It's just a great podcast. I don't want to ruin it, but there's just so much to unpack in that.
Oh, dude, it is.
Great one.
And I would say that's one of the things, dude. Like the whole other side of the family gets alienated. And those are questions that you can ask because at the end of the day, they don't just do one person, they do all these people. And you can easily look back at them and say, what was the common denominator here?
Wow.
Now, if there is a father that's not getting relief in the courts, Dwayne, okay, not getting relief in the courts, or they are wanting to charge him an astronomical amount that he cannot afford.
Yeah.
How do you expect him to reach out?
Well, I mean, yeah, the dad, I mean, again, and you could tell that hurt, and that's a whole other thing. I'm hoping we can touch on that with, for parents that are going through this right now. And because we've received messages and calls all the time. I just want to give up. It's, I just can't. She lays it down in that. I mean, she talks about that aspect of it.
She does.
I mean, again, I was fortunate. So, but others, I mean, it may energize you and get you okay, this is what this is why I'm fighting so hard. But man, it was a great interview. It just impacts so many different areas. And the way the way she told her story and the way she did everything was a great interview. I mean,
I think you're going to see a lot more from her in the future. And I hope so. I really do.
She would be an awesome advocate to do. I mean, I know that's probably a lot to ask of her. I mean, she's already had a lot put on her tiny shoulders, just growing up with this, but her story being told, powerful. And thankfully you guys were able to reach out to her because so many people have shared her. Well, parts of her story went viral, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, and that's what happened. She had a viral, I think, like TikTok video, and somebody tagged me in it, and I commented on there. I was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you." She commented right back right away, and then next thing I know, we were connecting, and I sent my email on there, and she emailed me right back. She's like, "I want to tell a story." And you know what? I pre-recorded that for a reason because of loyalty conflicts, and I didn't want it to be like, oh, I said something I didn't want to say. Nothing about that was edited.
That was a one-taker.
Oh, you could even see, man, like at the end when some of those questions, I was like, oh, I'm not going to say that. And then after I heard her, I was like, okay, I'm going to say that.
Well, you felt her out.
You know what I mean?
See if she was ready for that kind of question, because this was a lot of deep unpacking, and she was amazing. Again, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's free. You know what? I know you always like, share, subscribe. This is one you need to share with everyone because, well, you don't know who's been through this, because again, these things aren't talked about. This young lady talked about a very personal thing.
Well, she was, and this should give hope to the community, even though it was delayed gratification. Most of us want instant gratification. We want this over with right now, but it took a long time. But here's one that started questioning what they was told.
Right.
And now we got the side of the story that you'll hear inside of that show. And I think what's very important is when we get the kids' perspective, if there are some other kids that have went through this and then they see it and they say, you know what? All I know is one side of the story too. I want to know the truth. Right. What questions should they ask? What is something you wish you would have done earlier, Katie? You know what I mean? Yeah. And we get that out there because that's really where the answers to all of this is. If you ask me, Dwayne, we got to educate our youth.
Yeah. The youngins, they're the ones that are going to hopefully end all this. I mean, us old guys, there's only so much we can do here. It's going to be the younger people coming through. I mean, it's going to be, it's a slow burn to get all this changed.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to get into these voicemails. Keep them coming. 762-441-0281. Again, that's 762-441-0281. Just scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I know it's Sunday morning. Some people might not be awake yet, so do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's get it out there to as many people as possible, especially that one last night, man, because I think that's one that the movement really, really needed.
This needs to be shared. And
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
Ed, at the bottom there, is there a link? Ed,
I'll grab it.
okay, you grab it and
I'll
put it in
grab
there.
it and throw it down in the
This is why
comments.
you want to like, share, and subscribe to both Facebook and the YouTube channel, because you're made aware of those and you get those links delivered right to you. I mean, I get emails letting me know that it's going live and all that. So that's one of the reasons why you do it.
Well, dude, and look, we're gonna have to have you guys do that, like, share, and subscribe, ring the bell, because I'll tell you right now, on a page combined 500,000 people, and it's saying what we've got in the counter right now, I can tell you is bullcrap.
Yeah,
It is bullcrap. There is so many people going through these issues, but the only way we can fight back at it, guys, is with your help. And we really need to start going to Rumble. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think that the establishment, again, tinfoil hat moment here, the establishment wants these kinds of stories out there?
No, and I know they don't. And there was times like when we was with the politicians, they got a gigantic following. We do too, and we're both sharing it. So it's not just dad talk. But when I would talk to certain politicians, like the dude, 1 or 2 people in the counter, and I'm like, you can't tell me there is not people in here wanting to see these shows,
right?
And so that's kind of how they cut your legs out from under you. It is. I mean, we had a ban the day before I was supposed to go talk on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. That's kind of ironic, right?
Shocker! How did that happen? Oh my!
Yeah. Going to do a national conference on fatherlessness, and then the day before get a ban, get one of these things, and you watch every time those happen, the numbers just go back down. And so, I understand we're gonna be fought hard, but you know what? We're gonna keep plugging away, Dwayne.
Yeah,
that's it. Whether it's 1 people or whether it's 1,000 people, we're going to get in here. We're going to plug away. We're going to do what we do. So as much help as we get from the community, because there's a lot of hard work that goes into this. Let's make sure it gets out there.
Yeah.
All right. Getting back to the voicemail, 762-441-0281.
Hey, Eric, this is Brandon again. Hey, listen, man, you kind of pissed me off yesterday. I appreciate everything you're doing, but look, man, you got to start being more straight up on needing money. I sent you some. I would encourage everyone who's listening to send you money. And I know you don't want to self-promote. I know you've been kicked around in the past by other advocates. Man, forget all that. You're doing good work. It needs to be done. You're worthy of compensation. And quit pussyfooting around it. It's pissing me off. So tell people, along with like, share, subscribe, you need some money.
Thank you.
Plain and simple. I've been self-employed for about 20-something years, and it was something I had to get over. But it's just a fact of life. Quit being a pussy about it and get it done. Send him some money, guys.
Well, thank you, Brandon.
Love Brandon. Yeah, I mean,
that was
a Texas boy.
I didn't know that was coming, guys. Especially not first thing in the morning.
Yeah, he's right though. I mean, yeah, it takes a lot. I mean, again, you flew down here to Texas. Robert Mass came down. You bought dinner for everybody. You coordinate all this stuff. You got the documentary. I'm probably giving way too much info away on kind of plans and stuff that you're doing, and it's not free. It takes, and then and I know you, like me, like everybody else, has a million side gigs where we're trying to hustle money to put back into the movement, but it can't just be, you or a few other people doing it. I mean, if we had a lot of shoulders locking in, giving $1, doing the stars thing, doing all the other stuff, $1, $5, $10, $20, just little bits here and there monthly. If you got that Patreon thing going, I think because that's they can do a set amount of whatever amount, and you could see, okay, I'm pretty well guaranteed X amount I can plan for the next. Unfortunately, you don't want to have to plan for these things, but plan for the next Tyrone Darling situation, or going to a different state because some big piece, something's going to happen or is happening that needs that, presence, that story to get out. But yeah, no, Brandon, you in your own special way, you
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly.
And I appreciate it. I know
Yeah,
he meant.
no.
I know he meant well with that, dude. And I mean, it is. You don't hear me talk about it much, but I appreciate that. And he's been a very big supporter of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, but keep them coming on, guys. We're gonna get on to the next voicemail. 762-441-0281.
Hey, Eric, this is Tony from Michigan. I've been listening to your show. I've been going through custody battles, 50-50 custody I've had for years. She's been in contempt. Every time I get a contempt hearing, she just puts in for a motion to change custody. She hires her gal, or the ad Liam, that is her personal friend. She wins in court. The lady never sees me. They ignore all of my complaints. I've been railroaded. Now I lost custody. I've been trying to get disability, so I haven't been working. She even went so far as to getting him on SSI. He gets $840 a month, and she was doing that while we had 50-50 custody, but the courts wouldn't hear me because it had to do with money, and she took me to court over financial issues and won custody. So now I've lost custody. During that time, I had lost hope. I almost died. I was so depressed and down about everything. And she was making threats on my life. She made false allegations to the guard ad Liam and the courts that I had raped her and drugged her. And my son's 11. So it's not like it shouldn't have come out. And then she admitted that it was wrong, and all the false allegations won her custody. And I was never heard in court. When I asked for help, she was given another lawyer. She had 2 lawyers given to her from the front of the court. Anyway, very sad, very depressed, but I'm encouraged by your show, and I wanted to tell my story. There's a lot more to it, but I know I'm on limited time, so thank you. Bye.
You know, I'll take that back. Now I'll take that back to what Brandon was saying. That's the reason that we're going to need resources, because the second the guys hear you, or the world hears you say false allegations, they think you're looking at an excuse. And from my experience, the guys that are going to be guilty of this stuff, they're not going to be in here. Most of them are going to be in hiding, trying to get away. They're not going to be trying to get their story out there and say, hey, this is what I was accused of. But for the ones that are going through the allegations, they're going to try to tell anybody because they're like, this is crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why we need to get some of these resources in, because I'm wanting to do some media to really dip down into this. This movement gave a gift from God. I hate that somebody had to go through a bad experience for it to happen. And you've heard me talk about it several times. Yes, I'm going to talk about it again. The Johnny Depp case. Okay. Because it was one where there was false sexual abuse, domestic violence, the mega pint of wine and all this other stuff. And it played out on screen and showed people just how crazy these accusations can get, Dwayne.
Yeah.
I think if we really dove in deep, and everything we got to do is strategic. I've already got up here what needs to be done with some media like that. Unfortunately, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars to get this kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the other night, what was it? Four camera guys, lighting, the whole 9 yards, and they still got to go back and do editing and stuff. And they're doing it for cheap. They're doing it for cheap because they matched us 50% and donated that time with a donor that came in. But if we can get that in there, guys, because I'm going to tell you, false allegations to me is the big elephant in the room when we talk about this movement, right? You can talk about child support. You can talk about alimony. You can talk about all this other stuff. But the second somebody hears false allegations, I went through the silver bullet. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys aren't listened to not long after that.
And that's why they commit suicide.
And that's what, yes. I mean, here's this guy. He's talking about depression. Probably feels like nobody cares. He's probably got people that he once loved that are now distancing themselves because of those said accusations. Yep. And I could only imagine what it would be like to be one of those guys going through that. I don't ever want to imagine it, actually. I just couldn't. What I've been through is enough. But being accused of doing something like that to your kid at the same time, when I talk about strategy, we got to keep in mind there is people that this is happening to. I want to address false allegations, but I also want to address the kids that this is actually happening to. At the same time, guys, the majority of TROs and these domestic violence claims are unfounded.
Yeah.
The majority.
Documented.
I think it was around 4 or 5. 4 out of 5 are like false.
It's in the 70 to 80% of all allegations are found to be without merit. But again, since it happens in the family courts of equity, not in the criminal courts, it's encouraged because that's how you, as a Texas DA pointed out, that's how you get the upper hand in divorce. That's a quote, by the way.
Right. And I mean, it's, dude, that one I feel strong in my heart because we've got to get that conversation out there. I mean, even me as an advocate for you guys, and I've said it many times, when I started Dad Talking, you would come in and talk about the false allegations. I'll admit, I didn't want to talk to you no more because I wanted to err on the side of caution. I don't ever want to give anybody a voice that's been accused of something like this and then find out they've done it.
Right.
And it was one of those, the more I kept hearing false allegations, like, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. And then I get more and more. And I think it was Robert Garza that really started opening my mind to that because I hear about 43 CPS allegations. And like, at what point do you prove your innocence and then get another charge? And we say, hey, what's going on here?
Right.
You know, and so I started opening my mind up a little bit more to it and saw like, this is a huge tactic. It is a huge tactic that's used. And
it is.
It's deadly, man. Very deadly.
You've got to get it out. And I mean, you got to do the research. So, you know, it's ironclad, whatever the word is, because when this media gets produced, if it gets produced, again, that's donations and pulling that in. But if it gets produced, it's going to have targets on it because the nows, the family court industry, all that. They're. I mean, look what happened with Johnny Depp. I mean, that was huge, and there was a lot of stuff happening. That if you produce something quality that goes out there and challenges that narrative, that the community can then point to and say, look, that's going to be big. That's going to get into the minds of different people. Because when we hear, oh, my husband hit me or my boyfriend hit me or whatever, or the reverse of that, everyone instantly goes, yeah, they want to believe it's true. I mean, we're all human. I mean,
of course.
I see it. Yeah.
That's not a Mighty Mouse thing. You want to protect children, even if they're not yours. Because children have a hard time expressing their voice. And here's the thing, man. A lot of times that these kids are victims of this, and I'm not going to say this is all across the board, but I want people to understand this. And I've got a little skin in the game and experience when I tell you this. Kids don't talk. Most of the time, kids that are going through this stuff do not go around because either one, they feel like they're guilty of it, or two, they're very scared of that person. Very, very scared of that person. And I don't know, man. I want to do what we can. I will definitely, I think once we get past Christmas, we'll just start all of the platforms that we got to where you can contribute to Dad Talk Today. 100% of the proceeds is going to go towards that. Not going to take a dime of it. We're going to put it towards that media to get it out there because it's needed, man. It's needed right now. It's the thing nobody wants to touch. And I think the Me Too movement definitely had a lot to do with that.
Oh yeah. Now, Me Too, all of those organizations, they're out there today trying to squelch the Johnny Depp story. And that was what, a year? It has been a year? I don't know.
I don't know. It hasn't been a year.
Yeah.
I mean, Depp's case has been going on for a very long time.
Yeah, and little things. I mean, you can go on Facebook and Google it. You're going to see people fighting, saying that Amber Heard was right, and Johnny's this and Johnny's that. And I mean, to this day, it's going to take a lot to change that narrative, even with something that I would argue is black and white as the Johnny Depp case. I mean, there's little bits and pieces back and forth, but the abuse he was being put through, you can't deny it, and yet there were people that do it. To do a documentary?
Oh, yeah. No. I was just going to say there's a lot of people that call it a spectacle. They were both guilty and everything. Let me tell you something about that. I got to give the guy some credit.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny did not try to take up for the things that he did. He was like, I took ecstasy, I did this, I did this. And when they would ask him about something, he was straightforward with it. When it came to her, she couldn't admit to anything, you know, and the accusations started getting worse and worse. Did that look good that he was doing all that? No. But I have respect for a guy that can say this was my
owned up to it.
This was my part in it. I'm not perfect. It wasn't a mega pint of wine. That was one of the emojis I wanted to get on here a while back, was the mega pint. Yeah, the mega pint. But it's a good time to expose it right now, guys. And the further that we get away from that, the harder it's going to be, because it's our conversation starter. So you're going to hear me talking about that much, much more, because I feel led to get on that one as quick as we can. Okay. We'll get off of that one because I got several more voicemails, and our show only gets to run for so long today because we got some meetings to go to. So keep them coming in, guys. 762-441-0281.
We really need to start discussing 21 fathers a week who commit suicide because of child access issues. And a second issue that contributes to that is the crimes of CPS. Within false allegations and varying other issues, taking children without court orders, destroying families in their entirety. And I think there's a lot to be said that isn't being said to a much wider audience. It's important to look at these issues because they're huge. It's the elephant in the room in a lot of situations, and a lot of men are dealing with this. And I think it's something extremely important that we need to address is men's mental health and networking within fathers who are dealing with the same type of issues across the country. It's a big pandemic, not to be compared with a virus, but I think it's extremely important that we start screaming from the mountaintops about things going on with entities like CPS and child support enforcement, the things that they do to keep us down and make sure that we can't survive ourselves. Suicide prevention should be at the foremost, and we need to work together, band together, and help each other, you know, during these times. There aren't a lot of resources for us men out here that are dealing with these kind of things, and that needs to change. And I think with the help of shows like yours, we can get the word out, and there's a lot to be said about it. And I'm curious other people's input. Thank you.
You know, I appreciate that, brother. I mean, look, guys, we can get on here and talk all day long. But again, if you're not doing the like, sharing, and subscribing and helping us getting the word out, our feet's cut out from under us. Yeah. And as I was hearing them talk about CPS, suicide, men's mental health, child support, is there any of those things this gentleman said that we don't talk about on every show?
He nailed it.
I mean, he nailed it. And we just got to talking about false allegations. You know, that the thing is, there's different areas that people might be more passionate about when it comes to the system. Which way do you want to go? We talk about the rabbit hole. There's so many different problems with this system, man, and you're not going to get them in all in one. I think what we're going to have to do is kind of like we did the past week and a half. We said, we're taking this whole week and we're going to talk about child support. This next week, we're going to take this whole week and we're going to talk about this issue. That way we can get everybody to the table on these issues. And at the same time, am I saying that like we're the answer for that? And with the show, no, we do what we can. Right?
Do what we can.
I mean, but men's mental health and suicide, dude, I mean, I talk about it myself. I think part of what we do, it's good to show the vulnerability behind this, Dwayne. 3 months ago, I was the most depressed I've just about been in my life, man. Yeah. When in a time, really, my life was going good. I'm a happily married man. Sometimes having to talk about this stuff is the last thing I want to talk about because I got to go back to moments that I want to forget about.
Right.
But at a time that I thought I was okay, but I had been depressed for so long, I didn't even know I was depressed. And I think a lot of you guys are going through that as well. And this is not to put a plug out there. He was talking about we need more fathers networking and talking about these conversations. Dad Talk Today support group is 100% free. If you get in there and you talk to these other dads, that is your group. Okay. I kept it closed off. Now I have seen something lately and I need you guys' help because you got to realize the people that are in there and trying to manage this thing are all volunteers.
They're volunteers. Yeah.
So we're not reading every single comment. We are approving every post, but we can't read every single comment. And there's some profiles, I guess, you know, if somebody's not active on Facebook for a while, maybe they passed away, that it's gotten hacked. And so there was some people in there trying to put some services and stuff. And then I've even seen this too, Dwayne. There's a lot of people that make money off this issue, coaches and all kinds of stuff. And they get in there and start acting like these guys' best friends. And then you can hit me up. I'll talk to you. Don't bring your ass in there, dude.
Yeah.
I will embarrass the shit out of you. I am telling you, do not come in there. That is not for you to make money. That is you guys' place that you can foster these conversations. And I hope that you will use it. But yeah, I guess that was a good time to talk about that. And it's probably a really good group for a lot of you alienated parents coming up for Christmas time.
Yeah. It's a place. I mean, Whitney, Mike Whitney, I mean, actually, I think on yesterday morning show, he put the number out there, but you know, there's a number for the suicide hotline, and you know, people you can talk to if you're feeling at that point. And we've talked about this before. You need to get a plan. Everyone get a plan for Christmas and the New Year, what you're going to do. I mean, I've already seen in all the other forums and things like that. I went to go pick my child up, and I got the DV charge. I got the silver bullet charge. I got, I showed up. I flew out across the country to pick my child up. Wasn't there. I've been reading that. It's happening. We're in it. We're in the storm now. These people, y'all need to get a plan. The dad support group, getting friends, other family members, something to where you can get through this. I mean, and again, Eric's trying to do everything he can. You're
tapped out, brother, tapped out to the max. And I'll be honest with you. We know we're not getting anywhere close to what all needs to be done, but it's not because of us not trying. Dude, if everybody in the movement was doing the things that we're doing right now, Dwayne, we would have been done a long time ago.
I mean, not to brag on the flip side, but 1/10 of it. You know, like, sharing, and subscribing costs $0. Stars and a donation every month. That would be awesome because that goes into getting things done. But talking about it, there's a lot of things people can do that doesn't cost anything.
Well, let me get real with these guys. A lot of these shows, you already know what's going on. So we're just reaffirming each other.
Yeah.
But shows like last night, for people that don't know what happens in this community, if you are sharing, and subscribing and getting that out to somebody, maybe you're saying there's a family member, there's a friend, and they don't understand what I'm going through. That's the one you show them.
Yeah. Here.
That's not a person going through family court. That was a kid that dealt with the consequences. There is your answers. I Stand with John. That was a free documentary that we sacrificed our life for. It's not monetized. It's not anything. We didn't make you pay to watch it. That is one of the documentaries that tells everything that's going on, because CPS, false allegations, domestic violence, family courts, problem with judges, murder. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Show them people that documentary. And those were made to educate the outsiders, right?
Right.
And like I say, I'll call them outsiders, but they've got skin in this game too, whether they know it or not, because somebody they know is affected by it. And I can guarantee you somebody in their family, if not themselves, will find themselves at the crux of these issues. It's coming. It knows no financial background, no skin tone, no gender. Although I will say it's predominantly dads, it affects everybody, guys. So take that media and get it out there. And that's what we can do. And I think that was the problem of burnout and depression too, though, Dwayne, because you try so hard, hoping that if you hit it as hard as you can, that it's going to go away. Yeah. Right. And then you just find yourself burning out. It's like, I can't do all this. I can do what I can do. Right. And then that was one of the hardest things for me with Dad Talk, dude, is trying to get to everybody's messages early on. I beat myself up if I couldn't hear their story because I didn't feel like I did enough. And here I am going with no sleep, no compensation or anything because you keep feeling that tug. And that's another reason why we say you guys need to get involved. You got to get involved. These aren't our careers. And our brothers can help our brothers. I agree with this gentleman. Our brothers can help our brothers. A few years ago, I was just another one of you guys, and I got that wild hair on my ass to make this podcast to see if it would do anything. And we need some more wild hairs on people's asses.
Need a lot of wild hair on people's asses. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about. I talked about my thing. I had created mine because I was watching these other groups and things are happening there that I'll be nice and just say I didn't agree with, and I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and try something on my own. And I have I want to say a gift. Some people call it a curse, but I like to do video editing and technology. So I would make media and materials that could be used to educate and entertain, and it wouldn't. Bob's would get 1 million views and something that was educational would get 2 after, a week and a half of putting all this together and stuff. And, I think everyone probably knows part of my story. I'm out of the system. I mean, I have 100% custody of my youngest. The rest of them are aged out, and I receive child support. I have zero personal skin, but I know that this wrong needs to be righted. And trust me, I ain't making any money off of it. I don't want to. I want to solve the problem. My happiest day was when Dad Talk Today shuts its doors. I mean, and for the positive. For the positive.
I know it'll be a while because if we do it in America, we've got to go help out our brothers overseas because it's our system that their countries built themselves off of. Yeah. So we got enough work to hold us over for a while. But it's content like this, guys, conversations and giving you guys a voice that people need to hear. On the flip side, it's a TikTok generation. If I do my 30-second reels, I average 50 to 100,000 people views. I want you to think about that. And a lot of people just download other people's reels and TikToks and post those because it gets the views. But what does it do for the overall problem? Right. And so I want to see this knowledge get out there. That's what we need to help doing. Unfortunately, again, we're fighting the TikTok generation. I watch it for a few seconds and then I scroll. And I think that's going to get even worse, really. People's attention spans are very, very short because of social media. So we're fighting so many different things. One, educating people that normally doesn't know about it. And two, you got a very small window. You got about 5 seconds to do something that catches their attention. And if you don't, they're gone and they might not ever come back. So it's just some of the things to think about, man. Maybe you guys can foster a conversation with somebody and say, look, I've got a show I want you to watch. I got a documentary I want you to watch. Get through it. Get through at least the first 10 minutes and see what happens, because I guarantee you if they do, they'll be hooked, right?
I was at a dinner last evening for a company. It was the Plus One, and I had 6 conversations on equal shared parenting and talking about the things that happen. I did talk about Tyrone's because it was a local situation. Right. It's getting that conversation out and then getting the education to be able to have that competent conversation, because so many people don't know about it, or they've been told one narrative. Being able to to steer that conversation. And again, I don't walk in going, I'm here about equal shared parenting. It was actually a family of funeral homes. That company had their year-end dinner, and I met a number of people from a number of different walks of life, and I was able to sprinkle in my ray of sunshine into every one of those conversations. That's where we want to get people, get that conversation out there. I could have talked about anything else but this is what I chose to talk about. And
there's ways you get strategic. Find out where it's going to affect them the most. You don't just go in there and think you're going to talk to everybody about Title 4D, right? And that's what a lot of the advocates want us to do, is like, tell them about Title 4D. It's like, well, if you want me to make them leave and go out the door really quick, we can do that. But finding out where to go. Everything is strategy. Everything is strategy.
Just not checkers.
You know what? The media, the media sometimes might be the best way to get that out, guys, because that is an entertaining way to get them involved in that conversation. That's not going to just let it go in one ear and out the other. But I want to get through these voicemails, and we got about 15 minutes left. So, guys, keep them coming. 762-441-0281. We'll need some for in the morning, so keep them rolling.
Yeah, my name is Eric, and just wanting to know if any other fathers are having issues with their mother gatekeeping, and the other side brainwashing their child. I'm just curious to hear if any other fathers are having the issue when they have joint legal. And very frustrating.
This guy sounds very, very tired.
Wore down. Yeah.
Gatekeeping. Does any other guys have problems with the mother gatekeeping? I can assure you, yes.
He must have been a first-time watcher, caller.
Maybe. I don't know, but yes.
Yeah.
They do that all the time.
And we need to get tools to get into these guys' hands to teach them how to, take that gatekeeping, and, when baby mamas or baby dad going off the chain, how to steer that around to get that ultimate, the ultimate goal.
Well, I think that was one of the frustrations with Dad Talk, doing this for, be 4 years next year. That 4 years went by quick, but there's not much on here you can talk about that you haven't talked about already. And there is going to be the things that no matter how hard you try on every episode, you're going to hear it again. And so you start thinking like, I'm a one-trick pony, right? And I want to have some different conversations. The thing is, these first-time viewers, they don't know about that.
Right.
And so we have to constantly make sure that we're getting that out there. And so for anybody that is needing some of that education, I would say go on Facebook, go on YouTube, look in the video section, and just scroll on down, dude. There is nothing about this movement that we haven't discussed numerous times. I mean, numerous times. I wouldn't even know which one to tell you to go to, but you can see, and we've had actors, we've had celebrities, politicians, regular parents, every little, moms, dads,
children,
where dads have been murdered, where kids have been murdered, alienation, gatekeeping, Title 4D, it's all there. Every single bit of it's there. And we're going to continue to have those conversations. And I think that is why, one, giving you guys the voicemail allows you to have a voice, okay? Allows you to speak, get a little bit off your chest, but it also lets us know if there's something that we've talked about a million times, but you're wanting to hear it again.
Yeah.
We know what to touch on, right? So the show is kind of in you guys' hands right now.
Yeah.
I
still vote for video games, but that's just me.
I do think that we do got to do an episode on video games.
Yeah, definitely.
I got to find out how to stream them.
We can get that set up. Yeah, and that's where I've talked about it. We probably need to have more conversations, but trying to talk about other guy thing, video games, hunting.
I went hunting this morning.
Oh, you did? Oh, good.
Yeah. The deers are chasing again, man. This is it, guys.
No butt pics.
You don't see those bucks all year, but let that woman go into heat. And all because they're going after the wrong woman when they cross this guy right here. I hate to do this to one of my brothers, my deers out there, but one of him when it comes with the big rat, when he goes chasing that butt, I'm going to get him. I didn't see him this morning, but he was on my camera. Oh, dude, big rat. And I'm not talking about Bob's.
Not Bob's, racks.
All right.
Racks.
Yeah, we're going to get into this conversation. Dude, what if we had like a Call of Duty tournament for the Dad Talk audience? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
I can hang out in zombies. I've gotten so old, I can't do the...
I'm a master at zombies.
Yeah.
Black Ops 3.
What's your favorite map?
Der Eisendrache.
Really? Okay.
Oh, dude, by far.
I'm Ascension.
Dude, something about Der Eisendrache, the bows. I love those bows, man.
We'll have to.
I can walk you through that Easter egg pretty good. I know everything about it.
Okay. All right.
Shadows of Evil was really good too.
Shadows-
It was different.
That one that turned me off. That was the one where I got that and I went, all right, I'm buying the rest of the maps to pull in.
Well,
But,
I didn't like it at first either. But have you ever done the Easter egg?
No, I was getting ready to say I talked a lot of smack here in the last minute or two about how I'm whatever, and you're talking Easter eggs. And I'm like, yeah, I don't get that far. I got
Oh,
up
you
to
don't?
I got up to level 40 on Ascension, and I camp in the back up on the platform, and I just go out. I'll power up or one up my weapon or whatever.
You play the giant, don't you?
I play the giant. I'll do the
I
giant.
knew it.
Love that
you get
one.
on the platform. You get on the bridge.
Yeah, I'm camping.
All right.
I'm a
I got to
camper.
show you some real zombies. And I got to get you out of the camping. I can play that game, dude, for hours and hours and hours, and I don't get tired of it. And I tell you, like after BO3, they really shit the bed.
Yeah, they did.
The last 3 games was just horrible, but then they came out with Cold War.
Yeah.
Cold War was the best one they've made, and I can't tell you when. And it looked like it was coming back, and all of a sudden we got Vanguard, which was the worst Call of Duty ever made.
My kids were like, "What the hell is this crap?"
It was crap, man. And it's like, dude, Treyarch, this is what they do. They get you excited and make you think it's coming back, and then
yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we're gonna end up going there. We got 3 more voicemails to wait. All right.
Boy.
762-441-0281.
Hey, Eric. You got Chris Simmons here. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I've been driving trucks since 2010, into 2010, beginning of 2011. Met this gal. She's my baby mama. Just call her Sam for short. But I was going through court for a whole different ordeal. I was found not guilty at that, but she was by my side. We continued to date. Dated her for about a year. We moved into an apartment. There was several red flags during the time that we moved into the apartment, and we lived there for a couple years. And when she got pregnant, to take the pregnancy test, she had her friend that she had met at work hold her hand while she took the pregnancy test and came back positive, but she was scared about it, is what she told me. Well, over the years, we were really toxic for each other, had a lot of fights and arguments. And our daughter, Carly, grew up through a lot of it. We finally split up in 2019 when I found out she was video calling fellow truck driver friends of mine at 4 o'clock in the morning when she had to be up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to work. We never got married. The child was born out of wedlock, but she gave the child my last name. And it wasn't until after we split up, about 6 months afterwards, that her best friend came to me and told me that a lot of the hunches that I had during our relationship of her cheating, even though she was accusing me of cheating during that relationship, they were true. The hunches that I had were true. And they told me to go get a DNA test. And I contemplated on it because I didn't want to know. But we went to Ann Arbor, Michigan. We got the cotton swab. Took a picture of us and all of that. They sent it in to the DNA Diagnostic Center. It came back that I was 0% probability of being a father. And that really hurt. When I threw it at her face, she tried to backpedal and said that she knew the guy she worked with, and he tried to run her over with a car. Some kind of story that makes it seem like she wasn't as guilty as what she was.
Victim.
Hey, Eric. You got
It cut off, man.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, dude. Yeah. So here is a guy that finds out that the kid was never his in the first place. And, dude, 33%, around 33% of guys that get the paternity test find out they are not the father. Think about that, guys. That's 1 in 3. And that's only the people that are testing.
Right.
And note that the guy said, I didn't want to know. Why didn't he want to know? Because he knew if he found out the truth, the depression that was going to lead with it. And
The
because you're
damage.
a man, there's not going to be any sympathy.
Oh,
And it was almost like, I'd rather go live in this facade because I don't want to face the day, because I know the hurt and emotions that go along with that, the embarrassment. That's a lot, man. That is a lot. And he brought up another red flag. Like, she was accusing him of cheating.
That's a big red flag on the play. Oh yeah, when they
If they're
pull that
accusing
crap.
you of cheating, guys, a lot of times it's because they're doing it. And if you've got that hunch that there's somebody that's cheating, well, a lot of times they're going to tell you. Your heart's telling you that for a reason.
That
Somebody
cheater show
that
is
you-
there.
Somebody that you love and trust. Dwayne, do you ever think about your wife cheating on you now?
No,
Me neither.
no. I mean, yeah, we were at the dinner. She was, blah blah. She's got hundreds of men's numbers in her cell phone and talks to them. Blah blah blah. Work, not work.
But you don't ever even think about it.
Yeah,
That's a
think about
safe and secure relationship.
Yeah,
And guys, I can tell you, I've been in the relationships where I felt like I had to watch my back and see every little thing that was going on. And that's pure torture. Nobody
Yeah.
needs to be in a relationship like that. That is not healthy. So if you're getting that hunch many times, there's some truth behind it. But one of the biggest red flags is when they start accusing you of things that they are definitely doing.
yeah, that's how it works. And I don't know if I'm just at that age, cynical, whatever. But when he was talking, and I was going, he's going to get a DNA test, and he's going to be found not to be the father. And I mean, it was one of the, you felt it in your bones. You hear those
Yeah.
little things being popped out there, and you're like, And but her friend. I mean, the woman's definitely culpable. She's horrible because she's caused so much damage to that child, to him. I mean, everybody. The ripple effect. All these, the grandparents or the non-bio grandparents, the friends. I mean, all these different things. They're all impacted. But what about the girl's friend that was it? Girls before or sisters before misters, I think is the saying. This girl kept all this quiet and was permissive of that behavior. We need more of those people to speak out and say, no, you're wrong, because that's probably, she probably helped her along. Well, she obviously helped her. She was there during the pregnancy test. It reminded me of Gone Girl, the movie, a little bit, but to fake the pregnancy test, and she knew about all the cheating, and she was complicit.
If I love you and I befriend you, I'm going to tell you the things that I think you need to hear, not what you want.
That's a friend.
And you know what? There's going to be times, I've had many times that my friends get pissed off at me and don't even want to talk to me, but they'll come back because they'll say, he steered me right. Right. And if I see you doing something like that, I'll talk out in a heartbeat. Like, you need to quit that. And that's what the world needs to start doing. I mean, I get that she was holding your hand while you was doing that, but think of the damage that we are allowing people to do. There is more relationships that are broke up by girlfriends of the friend. You know what I mean? Girl, you don't need him. Keep this and then hold these secrets. How could you do that, man? How could you do that? That's somebody that's destroying their life. And you know what? They might think they get away with it now. It could be 18 or 20 years from now, and then that truth comes out and it's even more damage. Guys, speak up. If you're a friend, you will not be afraid to tell your friend what's good for them or if they're making a mistake.
If you're a real friend, if you're a faker, a poser, or whatever they call them nowadays, you're just some.
Those are everywhere.
Yeah,
those are everywhere. And you know what? You'll respect it when you got that person that steers you straight, man.
Yeah,
that would usually become the person when you're doing something and you're questioning, like, should I do this or should I not? You call them and tell them what you're doing. Right? Because I know I'm going to get the right information. I want to second guess before I do this to make sure I'm doing the right thing. Those are the people that you need in your life, the ones that you're wanting to call in those times. So
they are few and far between today.
They are very few and far between. Buddy, I love you. And I can't imagine what it's like for what you're going through. Carnell Smith will be back on the show sometime soon. And I would love for you to tune in to that one and give us that story again, because paternity fraud, People talk about CPS, talking about false allegations, all that's big too. But imagine finding out the kid wasn't yours in the first place, because many of them, after they find out, still have to keep paying child support. That would have been my next question for the guy. If he was already on child support, did they make you keep paying? Because if you've got your name on that dotted line as the father, even though I think he did say he was unmarried,
right?
But
his name's on the document.
Your
It
name's
needs to
on
be
that dotted
removed.
line.
They need to let the girl know, or the child know, because again, if she has some medical issue that needs to be addressed. I mean, because again, if the bio father's DNA or history has early heart attack or whatever that is, that kid needs to know.
And I will say this, Carnell Smith is probably the most underrated guy in this movement. I don't think people realize how much of a badass he is. He was the father that went through it, and then afterwards was like, I went to 11 different states and helped get legislation changed on paternity fraud. Getting a law passed in one state is ridiculous, but he did it in 11, guys. And so you need to check out which state you're in if you find yourself going through paternity fraud, because some of those states have protection because of that gentleman, right?
Because
that if you go through that, you got protection. So I don't know. That means there's still 39 states out there that doesn't have it, but there's 11 that does. So if you ever find yourself in the situation of that last caller, make sure you're educating yourself. Paternity fraud. Check out the Paternity Coach, and great time to plug his book. Carnell, I should be getting commissions off this, man. I'm just kidding. That's my buddy. Trapped by Law. Stop paying child support for paternity fraud. This should be your Bible right here, man.
Yeah.
If you're going through those issues, go and check it out. It is amazing. I got 2 more voicemails. We got to quickly hurry up and get out of here. 762-441-0281.
Hey, this is Chris out of Denver. I wanted to point something out I don't think people think a lot about is it's psychologically impossible to make a good father and a good husband look bad and the mother or the former wife look good. It's psychologically impossible to make somebody look bad and not have yourself look bad. I don't think these moms and these ex-spouses that are fabricating bad dad, don't think that really dawns on them. Maybe they're being manipulated by their attorney to go for the throat of the ex-husband. But there's no way a person can do that without making themselves look bad. And I don't think they realize how bad they're making themselves look. I think that's something they should look into and think about. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Absolutely. What's your thoughts on that one, Dwayne?
Well, I just heard him talk about manipulation by the attorney. Went, yep, that's what they do. I was trying to follow it, to be honest. He was talking about, it's impossible to make the woman or the man look bad. I was having a little hard time. I was too.
That's why I asked you what you thought.
Okay, I think it's just trying to say that normal parents are okay, and it's impossible psychologically to make them look bad. But then they have to do all these outlandish things to make the other person look bad,
and they can do it.
And
because in today's society and the silver bullet and the Simps and the Mighty Mouse, it's easy to do, man. So many people fall victim to it, guys. And again, that's another reason to get these shows out there and explain to people what's going on, because it's the only thing that's going to fight back at that narrative. That narrative is so strong. It is the reason that the system exists, because it seeks to diminish your voice if you're a father going through this.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And that's, again, why we're empowering you with these voicemails. I'm trying to give you the megaphone. Keep speaking up. I am going to do something a little bit later on, but I tell you what, I'm going to listen to the comments on this video on YouTube and Facebook before I go on there and post it. What do you want us to talk about next week? Give us some subjects to talk about. We still need to do the one about how to fight against the narrative.
Yeah.
Right? But tell us, what is the next subjects you would like us to hear? And it's going to be running off your voicemail. So get it down there in the comments. Let us know. We're going to get to the last voicemail of the day, 762-441-0281.
Yes. This is Sarah Daly. My son called you yesterday, Jeremy Dean from Tipton. I worry about him every day going there because I know the family. And you was right. The judge is friends. Her and her husband do go there. And she admitted it in court. But she's told him if he says anything else about them on Facebook or anything, that she would take his rights away, and told him that he had to be good to his mother, his ex-wife. Her mother has actually got out of the car and went after him, and the judge didn't want to hear any of that. And I don't know what we can do, because even the judges and the lawyers in Atlanta told me that he had 2 strikes against him. One, he was in Tifton, and one, the judge. So, if there's anybody out there that can help him, we would really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Oh, dude.
I
gotta paint the scenario for this, and I can hear the anguish in Mom's voice. I am from Georgia, so I know the area that they're talking about, and I remember that call from yesterday. I do. You know, I was talking about the situations with like Tyrone in the hood and how the challenges from Section 8 and stuff come in there. But let's go to like small town Georgia. You would think it wouldn't be as bad, but she just said there was 2 things against him. One, that he was from small town Georgia, and 2, the judge that's over it. Okay. And that's what a lot of these guys find themselves up against. Somebody that's getting campaign money put into this judge's thing. Or maybe it's just a judge that doesn't believe that a dad has what it takes to parent their child, because they're out there, guys, especially in rural Georgia. Some of these guys are still stuck that moms are Sam's, the stay-at-home moms, and that dad has to be the worker and the provider. So what happens a lot of times when you see these moms that are pulling a lot of these tricks that we're talking about right now, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt just because they're moms, and dad's going to get the shaft just because he's dad. And I'm in this situation I'm in, Dwayne, because I am a dad. I have no rights.
Yeah.
People talk about bad dads don't need rights. Well, what about good dads?
Yeah.
Because good dads don't have rights either. If you're one of the dads that want to be in your child's life, he has. Good dads have no rights. Bad moms bring the child in the world with rights. Think about that, man.
Yeah. It just reminded me again of Katie's story last night. There was a section, again, no spoilers, but people that are going to watch, please go out and watch that video from last evening with Katie. But what Eric just said, have that in the back of your mind's going to be blown through it, but keep that in the back of your mind, as you're going through it. It's horrible that the mom called in for her son, and I mean there's just so many things going through my head right now. I'm trying to find a way to kind of pull it all together. Oh boy,
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I hear voicemails like that because I hear from the son. Today I hear from the mom, and the first thing that starts running through my head is John Mast.
Yeah.
What can happen next? Right. And you never know when this follow-up call is going to be whatever.
Oh my God, they shot
it can be so many different things, man. So there's a little PTSD with this, because I can hear the desperation in mom's voice. This is a mom that's sitting back and seeing what the son is going through. Right. And that's why we need women in this movement. Okay.
Yes.
There is a mom that's fighting for her son, and I can guarantee you she wants that father to have rights. And we need mothers like her. You need to be there for your son.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a shoulder for him to cry on. If the system is against him right now, the one thing he's got going for him is his support network. Make sure that he's taking care of himself and not consuming himself with this battle. Some people might not like me saying that, but I'm just going to tell you, when you've done everything you can do, sitting there stressing over it does you no good, and it will eat at you like cancer.
Yeah.
I would say this, even though he's not licensed in Georgia, the one resource that I could give to her, because she was asking for a resource, and guys, I wish I knew. I don't like going around telling the attorneys because I don't trust attorneys. But there is a few that I do trust, and he's doing free consultations. Check out Kevin Hickey and Whole Law Firm out there in Arkansas. And he doesn't practice in Georgia, but he does pro Havice and stuff. And maybe he knows somebody that does. And I know he will consult with you guys, but I don't know, man. I wish I had more I could say to a lady like this, but I don't.
Well, it's small town. I mean, it's a small town area. The judge obviously knows the attorney, or knows. Well, she was saying, I think knows the girl involved and all that, and getting a fair shake in that situation. I mean, I don't want to give it.
Dude, Jeff Younger has no chance if that.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Judge Mary Brown? Isn't that her name?
Mary Brown.
I'm just going to tell you, as long as she's sitting on that bench, Jeff Younger has no chance.
None.
No chance.
No,
I don't care how good your case is, what you can argue, what's going on. There's just some of these guys. Jonathan Vanderhagen tells the judge, if you don't give me custody of my son, I'm afraid he's going to die. And then not long after that, the child dies. But because he was a dad, he wasn't listened to. Guys, we're not playing a fair game here.
Yeah.
We're not. And to act like we are is where I think it's criminal. And this movement has really disgraced our guys and turned their back on our guys by telling them that it's not happening. It is.
Yeah.
It is. This is one of those examples. Like, and what do we tell them, Dwayne? They're wanting some type of solutions, man. And I wish I had it. I don't know. I mean, you're fighting in a rigged system. Am I going to sit there and keep trying to promote you to go somewhere where they might have the odds stacked against you? I'm in the same state, dude. If I was to tell you,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we're fighting, as hard as we can. We're trying to give, advice. Again, we're not attorneys, fashion people, and all that. And we're here to listen, to get your story out, as best we can. But at the end of the day, it's like the Matrix. All the doors are shut. They control the system. That's where we're at. For all these different cases, me telling you to go get an attorney 99% of the time is dumb, because they're part of the problem. They're in the system. It's like the Matrix. Please watch the Matrix if you haven't. It'll make so much more sense. But it's a $60 billion a year industry that we know of. And these attorneys and judges and all these guardian ad litem's and all that, they're all golf buddies. They're putting their kids through college. They're buying their cars. They're all that stuff. They don't care about you. It's like wrestling. They already figured out who's going to win before it started. The campaign contributions. These attorneys pay a lot of money in campaign contributions to these judges, and that's who wins the case. I mean, this is what I tell people, honestly. I said, you know what? If you want to take the months, years, whatever it's going to take to learn how the system's going to work and fight and learn how to go pro se and fight it on your own, if you're not going to do that, go on to followthemoney.org, find out which law firm is giving the most money to your judge, and go there. I wish I could give a better answer.
I know. We don't want to we're not promoting the system. He's telling you the truth. A lot of times, one of your best strategies is going to be finding the attorney that's putting money into the judge's campaign. And that works.
And it's the short term.
Do I like it? No. Well, and do I want you to do it? No. And is it going to work? Not always. I mean, there's going to be, again, just pro mom judges, man, that don't believe dads can be the dads that we know we can be.
Yeah. Oh, we have video after video after video of judges outright, just right there, knowing they're on video because they're so brazen, saying you're not getting custody because you're the dad. It's not happening. And and I know at least one viewer has listened to what I just said about do the campaign contributions. Don't do it. You're feeding the system and you're screwing everyone else over, which is part of the problem.
I agree.
People in the movement, they're doing things for their own personal gain, their own personal whatever, and they're screwing everyone else while doing it. I know it's Eric telling me to shut up and knock me off the air, but that's what's happening. People are like trying to get themselves out front and are willing to sabotage other people by, doing that. Find out which law firm is giving the biggest campaign contribution. You're paying that law firm to then advertise more and get more business and give bigger contributions to ensure that they continue the cycle. They have no reason to stop. We've got to cut off. You got to cut off that whole thing and beat them at their own game and get the word out. It's again, and there's not one little. It's not if I just say this one thing or if I just do this one thing. No. It's going to be a Herculean effort by lots of people coming together to end this thing. That's how it's going to change. It's not, and I'm just going to pick names, Dr. Brooks McKenzie or Ryan or Jules in my class.
You just commented.
Oh.
The second you said that.
Yeah. I have a video of that one. Yeah.
Dude. I mean, I tell you guys, again, the conversations that we have right now, one, are dangerous because there's people that don't want us to have them, but it's also meaningless without our people putting it out there. I mean, that's it. And we need you now more than ever is all I can tell you. This is my last big run at it, Dwayne. I'm going to push with everything I got, but this is and I'm going to go until the last drop. This is my last big run at it, trying to get it out there, man. And I think we can do it. Yeah. I think we can do it, but we'll see what happens.
It's going to take people.
It is. It's going to take a lot more than what we got right now. It's going to take being honest too. I'm not doing the PC version like people have wanted to in the past. Right. I had some conversations with some gentlemen last night, and I think these conversations are about to get real. I'll end up getting too ahead of myself, but just stay in here. We've got in the media that we're wanting to start everything after Christmas. We'll start making some more announcements. At this time, though, we've got somebody waiting on doing a meeting with us.
Yeah.
So, guys, keep the voicemails coming in. Watch the page. I'm about to do a post and ask, like, what's the conversation over the next week, so we can get your voicemails rolling in. 762-441-0281. Again, that's 762-441-081. Please like, share, subscribe. You can support down there at the bottom. And other than that, Dwayne, let's do it again tomorrow, brother.
Tomorrow morning, be there or be square.
See you guys.
Never say